at the point I was like a civilian, so I was like, I don't want to die or anything like that, and that was like my main focus. Or things that I would inspire others to have would be like commitment and dedication. That's something that I struggle with.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I chose the National Guard because I can do both. Can do both. Have a great civilian life and also participate and serve the country and protect the
Sure,
country.
yeah.
Like the camaraderie, like the brotherhood. It was a lot easier to make friends just coming from a background of playing athletics. And I mean, talking to my recruiter basically every day. I mean, he just really encouraged me to continue on, and that the National Guard was something and it was meant for me.
All right, man. So we're just gonna have a conversation, nothing too crazy. But dude, we first met what? How long you been in?
2 years, like 2 years, 1 month.
In 1 month? Oh, or
Yeah,
just,
two
just over
years.
2 years.
Yeah, just over two
And we
years.
met at your high school, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was.
Do you remember anything from that? Like, what do you remember specifically? 'Cause I know
Um,
we're in the gymnasium and it's like a career fair. But what do you remember specifically out of that?
I had just came from football practice, and I had changed and everything. I knew there was a career fair going on. I knew our boy Alex Sutter had joined the National Guard. I found that interesting, but I was kind of like iffy on it. I didn't know if I wanted to join or not.
Sure.
Then I went upstairs. I see my mom was talking to you, and I went over there. I see my boy Alex, and I started talking to you, and you got me into the office pretty quickly. So,
Yeah.
and straight like from there on, I mean, I was
Yeah.
down after that. So,
Sure, sure. So when we got into the office, do you remember? I know it was quite a while ago, but do you remember exactly what we went over that, and kind of what was the the what was the deciding factor on moving forward with me and joining the National Guard?
we went over multiple jobs, and at first I forgot what we were looking at, but it wasn't an infantryman, that's for sure.
No,
It was like what was it?
I thought it was artillery.
Yeah, what I think it was an artillery
Because Sutter
specialist,
was,
or
yeah, Sutter.
yeah.
Small world. That's Sutter's section chief right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah.
But we went over artillery and stuff, and at first I had signed. I was like, I want to be artillery, because like at the point I was like a civilian, so I was like, I don't want to die or anything like
Sure.
that, and that was like my main focus. And my mom was like, you don't want to die, so I was like, okay, I'll sign artillery, and then we started looking at other jobs, and when I left, I had signed artillery. I was like, I'm gonna do artillery, and then I gave you a call the next day, and I was like, I think I want to be an infantryman.
Yeah. I remember I was having because I'm an infantryman.
Right?
That
Yeah.
was right. And then, did you get a bonus? I don't remember if you did.
Yeah. I got a. I think I got a GI Bill kicker,
Yep.
and
Because you scored like a 50
bonus as
something on
well.
the ASVAB.
Yep. Yep. I got a $12,500 bonus,
That's right.
which
That's
is
right.
which is
And
great.
now it's back up to 20. So I'm sorry, man.
Oh yeah. It's
I
all
got you
right.
something. I got
Yeah.
you something.
I got
So
something.
yeah. So back then, when you were deciding to do this in high school and all that, obviously you said that the whole dying thing, the quote unquote dying thing or whatever. Was there anything that you were kind of struggling with as far as everyday life, and if so, like did the National Guard kind of help with that?
Yeah. Well, one of my main things that really helped me join the National Guard was like my weight. I knew I wasn't gonna play a sport in college, and I wanted to stay in shape. And I knew that the National Guard would help me stay in shape, because like you need to. You know what I'm saying? It's a necessity. So that was one of like the main reasons as to why I joined the National Guard. Just my weight. I knew I was a bigger guy, and I was like,
And you're a linebacker.
right. I was a linebacker. Yeah, yeah. I was like, I'm not gonna play sports in college. I might as well. I gotta stay in shape. So,
Yeah. So
so.
what made you come to the conclusion that you weren't gonna go on to play football or anything like that?
Um, that's a good question.
Because
I
go ahead.
Well, I got accepted into Marquette, and my sister I went to Marquette, and I knew that they didn't have
Yeah.
a football program there. So I guess I would say my acceptance into Marquette kind of deterred my football wants, because I
Sure.
thought education was better for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally get it. I mean, realistically, and just being completely real.
Right.
the likelihood of going from that type of school where you were at Wisconsin Lutheran High School,
Yeah.
and then going on to play any sort of anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the reality of that actually happening?
About slim to none.
So
Yeah.
why do you feel that is?
It was just, I mean, I was realistically, we were a D3 football school. Even if I was putting up, numbers. I was getting tackles. I was leading my team in tackles from junior to senior year. But at the end of the day, I wasn't, no, no D1 school was looking at me. It was all D3, D2 schools. And, I mean, to make it to the NFL from those schools is slim to none. So,
Very slim.
yeah, very slim. So,
I mean, even so, like you know Whitewater, and then I think there's like River Falls. There's some pretty good D3 schools
Right.
here. And the only other D1 school here is
Madison.
Madison,
Right.
So realistically, getting into that, so making the transition to actually start to think of your future and how to secure that was, I mean, how big of a decision was that?
I mean, it was huge. It was like a personality change because my personality before was all football, like jog type of guy. I mean, my whole personality was based off of athletics and football, and then going from that to somewhere where I didn't do much of that was huge.
I mean, you're still an athletic guy, I
Right.
guess. And you did well at training, basic training.
Oh
right?
yeah, that was
I
a
mean,
breeze.
Tell me a little bit about how your athleticism and your ability to, how you play football, you're on a team, and
Right.
how did that translate to building teams and stuff while you're at basic training?
Right. I mean, it translated very well. I mean, the camaraderie, like the brotherhood, it was a lot easier to make friends just coming from a background of playing athletics and being like the new guy on the team prior to going to basic training. It made it a lot easier to make friends, for sure. Also, just like it was much easier to like run and to stay with the pace of how quick we were moving in basic training. Made it a lot easier.
Yeah. And so you had some success at basic training. Talk to me a little bit about that.
I had one of the highest ACFTs in our unit for basic training.
In your company?
Yeah, in our company,
Okay.
I had the highest ACFT in the company, and that was huge,
Yeah.
for sure.
So, and then when that happened, I guess that kind of put you on the radar for.
Oh,
like, the drill
RTLI,
sergeants?
RTLI.
Okay. Cool. And then talk to me how that came up, right? Because you
Right.
probably got called by, the drill sergeants or whatever, and
Right.
something happened. How did that work out?
So we were all on the drill floor. These RTLI guys came in. They're all tabbed up.
Well, for 1 second, what is RTLI? Just for,
It's gonna be Ranger Training. Oh snap, RTLI.
something with the Rangers.
Yeah, Ranger Training Liaison or something like that.
And the Rangers are Tier 2 Special Forces.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty prestigious school.
Right, for
Not
sure.
everybody gets to do it, right?
Yeah.
And typically those competitive dudes who have those sort of background playing football or whatever it is and understanding what it is to work together for an end goal, like a football team, right? Like
Right.
you need to win.
Right,
That's
yeah.
kind of what the Rangers are looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And that sort of helped you towards that.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why you got looked at. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Talk to me a little bit about how that worked out.
So these Ranger guys came. Drill sergeants. We were on the drill floor. Just information. These Ranger guys came, and they asked for all the National Guard guys, which was a surprise because in basic training it's all like, the active duty guys get like the airborne schools and stuff like that. They didn't really give it to the National Guard guys, and for the Ranger guys to come in and be like asked for just National Guard guys was pretty significant,
Sure.
And we came over there. We had a talk. They gave us a bunch of what do you call those? They gave us a bunch of pamphlets, and they're like, here are the requirements that you need to do while you're in basic training, so you can be able to make it to RTLI. And those are like have a high ACFT scores, like score over 550 on the ACFT,
What was your score?
585.
So almost maxed out.
Yeah, almost
Okay,
maxed out. Like have a high ACFT score, be able to run 2 miles under a certain time limit, be able to do this many push-ups, be able to do this many sit-ups. They just gave us that plan flicked that really just showed us the requirements.
So you had a clear cut plan of how to make it.
How to achieve there and make it to RTLI, yeah.
Okay, and then so what exactly happened once you actually got accepted in that? Like, how did that work out?
All right, so I got accepted into RTLI.
Was there like a formation or
It was
something
it
like
was it was more just like, so when you volunteer, they'll look at all your ACFTs and stuff,
that?
and then after that they'll just, I don't think they really don't talk to you much after that. They just pick you up after basic training.
Okay.
So if you didn't make it, then
Sure.
you're just not gonna get picked up after.
And for basic training, because you went to Fort Benning at the time. That
Yeah,
was
Fort
Fort
Benning.
Moore.
Yeah,
You finished all the way through infantry school
yeah,
as well, and then they picked you up. Is
yeah.
that how it
So I
worked?
went through basic training, AIT, finished everything.
Sure.
Then during graduation, they picked us all up.
Mhm.
We headed over to the Warrior Training Center,
Mhm.
and we signed a whole bunch of papers, a lot of papers. And then at this time it was during Christmas, so then they released us on Christmas break. But we had to stay there for like 1 or 2 extra days,
Sure.
signing papers.
Sure. And then what happened after that? Once you came back,
Um,
how did the
it
training
was
go?
just straight training. I mean, the training, like the average training day, you wake up in the morning, you do PT, and then you have classes, and then your day would usually end at like 12. And then I mean, they gave us our phones, so we had our phones.
Sure.
Then you just go on your phone, watch TV, hang out with your new friends that you just made.
Sure.
And then at the end of the day, usually they kind of like, they say it's optional, but they really make you do PT
Mhm.
at the end of the day.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, I mean, going into the Ranger world is, you gotta be tip top shape. and
right.
everything. And okay, cool. And then so what happened during the training?
All right, so they're PTing you twice a day. Usually in the mornings you're running like 3 miles, just 3 miles, but it's very hilly.
Sure.
Then you usually have the ranger instructor behind you. And then if he passes you, that's like more sprints that you have to do at the end of the runs.
Sure. Yeah.
That's usually what happens every morning. Or you'll have like some strength and conditioning PT as well.
You actually
Where,
go to the weight room. And
yeah,
stuff.
where you're actually going to the weight room
Cool.
and lifting and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
So how far did you make it through the training?
I made it all the way through RTLI training,
Sure.
and then I made it to RTAC. And RTAC made it through the first PT test, which was like the 2.5 mile run, and then all the push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, all that. And then I made it to land nav.
Okay. What happened? What happened?
Well, well, the first land nav course I passed. See, land nav isn't hard. In RTLI, they teach you land nav. You're gonna know land nav
Yep.
a lot. But unfortunately, on my second day of land nav, I lost my map. So I got 3 out of 5 points. I was on my last point, and I slipped and fell. And I got up, I ran to my point because I didn't know I literally stored my map in between my little OCP jacket and my T-shirt. And when I fell, it must have fell out. But I made it all the way to my point. I went to reach for it, and it wasn't there. So
It was an
I tried.
automatic no go.
Yeah, yeah. I tried to backtrack, but I couldn't find it.
Sure.
Yeah, and
Oh,
then,
dude. But I mean, aside from all that, right? What things can you take away from that? Your experience, memories, everything like that. Like, what is the, I guess, most significant thing that you've taken away from that?
probably staying in shape. I feel like staying in shape is a big one. Basic training like prepared me. It got me in shape. It got me in literally in tip-top shape.
Sure.
I think I was in the best shape of my life
Sure.
after basic training at AIT. It got me in the shape that I needed to succeed, like going straight into Ranger School. One of the biggest takeaways would probably be, or things that I would inspire others to have, would be like commitment and dedication. That's something that I struggle with.
Sure.
'Cause in RTLI, you're always gonna be on your phone. Like you're gonna be on your phone, you're gonna be watching TV, and you can kind of get sucked into like the civilian world.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that was tough for me because when you go to RTAC, they take your phone away,
Yeah.
and then it's like, man, I was just in RTLI for those 2 months. I had my phone,
Yeah.
and now in RTAC,
You didn't have anything.
yeah, you don't have anything.
It's
So
another shock.
right, yeah,
Culture shock.
yeah, for sure.
Cool. Cool. What your favorite memory out of all of that?
Probably passing the 5 mile for the first time.
Yeah.
Because the first time I actually had gotten recycled
Yeah.
in RTLI because I failed the 5 mile the first time.
How did you feel during that failure?
I mean, it was tough. They asked me if I wanted to continue because I could have dropped it then, but they asked me if I wanted to continue. I was only like a minute short of the 40 minutes, so I ran the 5 mile in like 41 minutes. It took a lot of dedication and hard work, because I was definitely devastated
Sure.
after that.
Sure. Yeah, you found another gear and wanted to go again.
Right,
And,
for sure.
right? Is
Yeah.
that some sort of resiliency?
Yeah, it definitely was.
To come back from something like that, like failure. Have you
Right.
ever failed before?
I have failed, but it wasn't as big as that failure.
As devastating as that.
Yeah, it definitely
Why?
wasn't.
Why would that one be a little bit more devastating?
Because I wanted to be a ranger. Like
Yeah.
that was a pretty big a goal of mine,
Yeah.
and to know that you're so close. Like I was passing the pull-ups, I was passing the push-ups, I was
Yeah.
passing the sit-ups, and to not be able to run a 5 mile by 1 minute, that was devastating.
I said, so I guess why a ranger, man? Like, why did you latch yourself onto that so intimately?
I mean, that was probably the only opportunity that they gave us in basic training through AIT of something higher than just a basic infantryman. Because in basic training, I wanted to go airborne. I talked to my first sergeant about it, and he's like, "Man, I'll get you an airborne contract if you go active duty." And that was like Ranger was the only other opportunity I had to make something
Right.
better of myself than just a basic infantryman.
Yeah. Dude. And then so I guess why did you stay National Guard rather than going active duty?
I wanted to go to school. I got
Yeah.
a full ride to Marquette University, so
That's right.
I wanted to continue schooling because I knew that I had a higher calling, than just being just a military man. I wanted to be like something with law enforcement in the future.
Yeah. So you decided to stay with the guard, right? You
Right,
actually had that. You could get a crosswords there.
right.
Stay with the guard or go active duty, and you chose this because you can do both at the same time.
Yeah,
Is that fair to say?
yeah. I chose the National Guard because I can do both. Can do both. Have a great civilian life and also participate and serve the country and protect the
Sure.
country.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
How you liking your unit so far?
Oh, my unit's awesome.
Where's your unit at?
Fond du Lac. It's a Fond du Lac
Sure.
Armory.
What's that unit name?
Chicken Hawks.
Chicken House. Charlie Company
Yeah,
127?
Charlie Company 127.
Okay.
Chicken Hawks for
Um,
sure.
yeah, and you said you like your squad leader and all that. Tell me about those drill weekends. What do you like about them?
The drill weekends are pretty chill.
Yeah.
The people that are there are pretty chill. They can all relate to you because, whatever you're doing, whether you go to college or you don't go to college, like everybody's doing something different, And if you're a college guy, you can find those college guys. If you work the trades, you can find the trades. So just to relate to those guys is pretty cool. But one thing that I like would probably be just like how everyone's friendly. Definitely, that has a huge impact.
Yeah.
Everyone's pretty friendly. Like your sergeant's gonna be friendly, your staff sergeants are gonna be friendly.
Yeah.
Everybody's just like it's more like a family. It's like a great family
Yeah, man.
that you get when you join the National Guard.
Yeah, and you and I have history there as well because
Right.
I went back to the infantry and I was there with you, right?
Right. Yeah.
I wasn't directly, in your superior at all.
Yeah.
But we were out in the woods.
Right. Yeah. We had a
Right.
conversation
So
together.
how often do you hear about soldiers being put in by a recruiter and then actually working directly with them?
Not too much.
No?
Yeah.
And
Slim to none.
we had that opportunity.
Right.
We
Yeah.
had that opportunity. No, and it was kind of a proud dad moment too.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
'Cause at one point where the commander brought in all those new guys, I put in every single one of those new guys.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah. So as far as your education benefits and all that, talk to me a little bit about what you're doing over at Marquette and what you're doing on the other 28 days out of the month.
Right, for sure. Alrighty, so at Marquette University, I'm double majoring in criminology and psychology with a minor in Arabic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
Tony. All right.
uh, full-time student, 17 credits. The military pays a decent amount of my monthly payments that I need to make at Marquette because Marquette's tuition is absolutely insane.
Sure.
So the military pays for that. And also I got the GI Bill kicker, so that helps a lot as well.
So what is, if you don't mind, what do you get per month with the GI Bill and the GI Bill kicker?
$666.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah,
And then,
so
of
that helps a
course-
lot.
And then what's that? Yeah, that's funny. And then of course, what does your drill pay get?
Drill pay every month is like $330.
So if you add it all up together, what do you get?
About
It's
not
a
a
rough estimate.
thousand, about $1,000.
About $1,000
Yeah,
for being enrolled in college,
yeah,
and doing your 1 week in a month.
yeah.
And then of course you have two part-time jobs at
Oh yeah, for
right? So
sure.
you're
So
rolling in the
I'm
dough right
making
now.
about like 1,600, 1,700 as a full-time college student. So that's a
And
lot of,
then $1,000 on top of
yeah.
that. So you're getting about
Yeah,
almost
probably
just
about
shy
like
of three thousand dollars
$3,000. Yeah,
as that, and then of course you have a full ride to Marquette.
yeah,
On Marquette side.
yeah. On Marquette
Okay,
side.
so
Yep.
they do everything that, and then of course we're gonna reimburse you for that tuition,
Right.
whatever it is.
And then also you at the end of each semester you have the opportunity to, I guess, register for Wisconsin National Guard tuition grant.
Yeah.
That's between like $5,000 to $11,000 as
Yeah,
well.
it all depends on what it comes up to as
Right.
far as the rates of Madison or whatever. It's
Right.
So you'll get that all squared away. And then that check goes to you.
Yeah.
It doesn't go to the school.
Yeah.
So you do something smart with that money.
Right. Yeah, for
And
sure.
of course, when you finish all of your basic training and AIT, and then the the ranger training and all
yeah.
that, did you spend any money down there?
Little to none.
Okay, so then how much, if you don't mind me asking,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
We're on camera. Right?
Okay, for
How
sure.
much money did you have in your bank account by the time you stepped foot into Marquette?
About $8,000.
$8,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
$8,000?
without all of my 12,500 for that.
Yeah, because you got that bonus.
Yeah, the bonus. Yeah.
So it would be fair to say that the National Guard is certainly helping.
Yeah, for sure.
And of
Yeah.
course, you have health insurance and all that.
100%. Yep. TRICARE.
Yeah, cool, man. Biggest takeaway from working with me.
Biggest takeaway.
Yeah. I know we've experienced a lot, but what would you say the biggest takeaway with working with me in this office? I know it was a couple years ago, a couple different people here, but
Probably to never quit, because when I was first joining, this was during the COVID era, so I ended up coughing at MEPS, and that sent me back like 2 weeks into, the whole process, and I had to wait a week, had to go get COVID tested, had to go to my primary doctor, they had to check me out, and at that point I could have just said, maybe the National Guard isn't for me, maybe this is a sign, but I mean, talking to my recruiter basically every day, I mean, he just really encouraged me to continue on, and that the National Guard was something, and it was meant for me.
yeah, yeah, I helped you along the way.
Yeah, for sure,
Fair to say?
for sure.
And made this. I mean, I was as far as like honesty goes. How would you rate my honesty level?
Oh, 12 out of 10.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, 12 out of 10
All
for
right,
sure.
awesome. And then we just helped you with that, and then of course, became good friends with you and your whole entire family. So,
Right, for sure.
the way we see it around here is that when you enlist in the National Guard, you're not just enlisting into the military.
Right, you're joining a family.
Yeah, you are just like how you said how you feel with your unit,
Yeah.
the Chicken Hawks, Chasco.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, man. So I think that would, unless you have anything else you want to,
Join the National Guard. It's meant for you.
Awesome.
All right.
Dude. Well, I appreciate it. Cool.